My name is Vernisha Jones, and I am the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. And we believe that we are the solution to the violence in our community. Our theme is Nothing With Us, Without Us. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is comprised of Fathers Who Care, which is a nonprofit organization located on the west side of Chicago within the West Garfield Park community. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is comprised of young people from our community whose focus and concern is youth leadership and a voice within the community to reduce senseless violence and illegal substance use. We invite people from all over, especially our young people, to come in and see what we are all about. Our show will be scheduled every Thursday at 7 p.m. Again, that is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Our show can also be viewed online at www.cantv.org/live. Again, that is www.cantv.org/live. Well, everyone, I would like to introduce my guest this evening. Many may know, some may not, Mr. Carlos Rodriguez. Why are you laughing?
Nobody knows me. No.
Thank
you for the nice introduction, though.
Thank you so much for being a guest on my show this evening. Again, everyone, I'm Vernisha Jones. I'm the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council, and you are watching a live interactive program brought to you by CanTV 21. During the next 25 minutes, we are going to discuss developing the minds of our future leaders. We invite our viewers watching to engage via social media with any input that you have about anything that we talk about today. You can reach us at West Garfield Park Youth Council on all the different social medias and also Fathers Who Care on all the different social medias. Are you ready for this conversation?
Let's do this.
Okay.
I've been ready for it all day long. I can't wait to get back on this show. This is good stuff.
I love it. I love it. So the first question I have for you, Mr. Carlos. Tell our audience, who is Carlos and why are you so passionate in the work that you do?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you and Fathers Who Care for bringing me onto the show. We've had many, many years of not just good discussions, but good work in the community. So we always give gratitude before we start, right? We want to thank
I appreciate that.
We want to thank our ancestors too for giving us the opportunity
to be able to do it.
Yeah, and to see further than the people before us, and we kind of owe it to them, right? So when I think about what I'm about, I always think about the people that came before me, right? How much they sacrificed for us, right? We have an expression in Spanish. We say, "Cuando brilla el sol, brilla para todos." That means when the sun shines, it shines for everybody. And so what brings me passion is when I see that there's injustice happening, especially to our youth, I got to step up. You know, I'm an elder now. And it's our elders' responsibility to connect people, to bring the community together, and to stand up and speak out against things that we see are inappropriate, right? So, that's what keeps me ticking. I think every child has value. And when I see young people sometimes getting in trouble and stuff, I don't see that as a necessarily bad thing. It tells me something important's going on, so we've got to address it.
It's
I hope
crazy.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that because when I was talking to somebody, I can't remember exactly who it was, but I had a conversation with somebody on the show before, and I was telling them as far as it being like, I feel like I tend to connect more with the kids that be in trouble because I feel like they calling for something. They asking for something. I feel like when kids get in trouble, it's not all the time, but a lot of times when kids get in trouble, it's something behind that the reason why they acting the way that they acting. Like they might have came home, something happened at home before they got to school and stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate you saying that where it's like you pay attention to that type of stuff where sometimes it's not always a bad thing that a child is in trouble. Like sometimes they just need somebody to talk to and somebody to listen to them.
Not at all. I mean, I've shared this with the Reverend before, but the African proverb that everybody messes up that we have to pay attention to. I think it's wise. It's something that we should all memorize. Everybody thinks that the proverb ends with "it takes a village to raise a child." You've heard that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you know that was not the whole proverb?
Let me hear it.
Yeah. The rest of the proverb says, when the village does not embrace the child will burn it down to feel its warmth. Isn't that interesting? It takes a village to raise a child. When the village doesn't embrace the child will burn it down to feel its warmth, right? So think about it. The children actually will tell us if there's something wrong with our society. If they're getting high, if they're fighting, we tend to demonize them, right? There's something wrong with that kid. There's something wrong with them, right? But really, they're the thermometer that tells you what's going on with society. So we should pay attention to them, right? We're not embracing them. We're not doing healthy things. So what you said just really hits me in the heart, right? Let's embrace these young people. When these young people get in trouble or something, or like they're acting out, I'm drawn to them because I know that they're seeing something that I'm not seeing, right? As opposed to them being bad or not doing things the right way, they're actually speaking to us on a deeper level. How about that for reframing that stuff, right?
You starting off powerful, ain't you?
I'm telling you, man.
He in a good mood.
I'm in a good mood, and I love young people. You know, I
Yes.
already told you that I'm going to New Mexico tomorrow to visit my family, and I love my nieces and my nephew, and one of my nieces has a son who's like, "Hey, Uncle Carlos, can you come and play baseball with me?" I packed my glove. We're gonna throw.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And also, can you tell them who is Carlos? Like many may not know like what it is you do and what company you're with.
I'm blessed.
Okay.
I became the area director for a company called WestCare. It's a national organization. Thank you. Be careful what you ask for, though.
It's a lot of work.
It's
I'm
a lot of
sure.
responsibility. Yeah, so WestCare is a not-for-profit that actually does work in the alternative schools with young people. It actually works with people
Great
that are
work.
involved in the thank you. We do work in the criminal justice system, so people that get in trouble with the law, that have drug problems, mental health problems, issues not finding housing or jobs, that's what we do. We humbly go in and ask curious questions and try to connect them with resources. And I'm just fortunate that I work with some really passionate people, and they've decided to take a chance on the organization and come on board so that we can do that work in the community. So
Okay. Yeah. And if anybody is interested in any information or anything in regards to your organization, how can they get in contact? Location?
Yeah. So we're located in the Pilsen area of Chicago, 1100 West Cermak. But I do something different, I think, than other leaders. I give people my personal work cell phone number because I want people to get a hold of me. So you can call me at 312-504-7263. That's 504-7263. I answer all calls. If you want to email me, it's carlos.rodriguez. My last name is spelled Rodriguez @westcare.com. Yeah, I think a lot of people that watch the show, they might have a family member or maybe their child that is struggling, and we're there for that support. We don't turn anybody away. If they don't have insurance, they don't have money, we're gonna hold space for you. We got you.
Okay, that's good. So if anybody in need of any type of help, please give Carlos a call or email him. He would definitely reach back out to you, or he will answer the phone. Right. Probably not this weekend, though, because he will be out of town. You going to still answer?
I'll answer the phone.
He still will answer.
My wife knows when she signed up. She goes, "Really, dude? Really? Do you have?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean,
this is business.
People. Yeah, this is about
and then
life.
When it's a passion,
you
it's
know what I'm
like.
saying? Imagine if your child was in trouble. And nobody answered the phone at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night.
And she got that one person that answered the phone. Yeah.
Yep. We got to be there for each other, right?
Yeah.
I think it's our responsibility as elders in this community to figure it out, right? If I can't help you myself, I'm going to try to connect you with somebody.
Okay. And so can you let our audience know what is the mission and purpose behind WestCare Illinois in the Partnering for Success program?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. I've been partnering with Fathers Who Care for now 5 years almost.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah, we're down to our last quarter. The Partners for Success, the Strategic Prevention Framework, is a very simple project. It's actually funded by the federal government from SAMHSA, and our job is to prevent adolescent alcohol and substance use. But, it's funny because we use a program called the 7 Challenges, which we'll talk about a little bit. And so we've gone further. We actually are problem-solving partners with the youth. So we don't just talk about drugs and alcohol. We talk about what bothers them in life, what's going well. How can we connect them with resources? If they're having conflicts with their boyfriends, girlfriends, parents, teachers, we're there to build skills with them. The Partners for Success program the goal is to reach 100 youth per year. So we're in 8 alternative high schools. Can you believe that? Yeah. The snappy fingers are what we do, right? And we pretty much make our goal every year. We started during COVID in 2020, and we still made 46 out of 100 youth, even with COVID, but we've made our goal every year. Yeah, we do all kinds of things with youth. We invite them into the community to help us put on safe festivals. We have them present with us to do drug and alcohol prevention discussions. We hold healing circles using restorative justice principles. It's pretty exciting. Of course, with Fathers of Care, we've brought youth over here to learn about how do you do a television program
Show, yes.
Can TV.
It used to be amazing.
Right.
It definitely, yes.
Yeah, the Reverend has actually got a youth council where we've taken kids yachting that was the first time I had ever been on a boat on Lake Michigan. I did it with the Fathers Who Care.
Yeah, that was my first time doing yachts and stuff too.
Yeah. And so trying to connect youth with pro-social activities and at the same time be present for them. So we don't just come to a school, for example, in this PFS program, Partners for Success, just to do a group. Yeah, we want to be relevant in their lives. So we give all of our staff give their work cell phone numbers so the youth can text us at any time if they need something during the week. We check on them too. We even check on them on the weekend because, with all that free time, sometimes they could get into trouble, and we want them to know that we're there for them to talk something through.
Okay, and it's crazy because the next question I was going to ask you was, what do you do to engage and empower young people? And we spoke on it where you have the youth program in the schools and they have access to their mentors and stuff like that.
Right.
And so what type of stuff is discussed, like what type of programming really is in the schools?
In the schools, yeah. So we do this group called the 7 Challenges, which is it's an evidence-based practice. If you guys in TV land want to look it up, you just put the 7 Challenges. So you got to put the in front.
Okay.
It was developed by a really wise man named Dr. Robert Schweibel. Dr. Schweibel figured out that a lot of adults were punishing and talking down at young people. And he recognized that never worked, right? Actually, the youth, what they would do is hide their behavior. So he came up with this program where we train our facilitators to, number 1, ask curious questions. Number 2, you don't get into the curriculum until the young people feel like they're safe and they feel comfortable, right? And then number 3, I said it earlier, we're problem-solving partners with a young person. So they may have been sent to us because of a drug or alcohol infraction at school, but most of the time, we don't even talk about that stuff. We talk about what it is to be a young man or a young woman.
What is it that you like to... Questions that they're not used to... You'll be surprised, because I done been in some of the groups, like questions that they're not used to hearing. You'll ask the child, like, how's your day going? What is your mental health like? And then you'll see the expressions on kids' faces where it's like, they're not used to people caring that much to want to know how your day is going or what's your scale 1 through 10 on how you feel. Like, kids are not used to that type of stuff.
They're not. No, I try to pay attention to what young people listen to, so we'll interweave music they like. I ain't afraid of bringing Lil Durk into my circle. I don't know a lot about the new music. I grew up with 80s hip hop and things, but sometimes I'll throw some of that at them just to get them thinking. But we want to engage all of their senses.
Yes.
Right? We'll bring food and snacks too. We'll talk about sex, relationships. Believe it or not, if I've got parents out there, it's very normal for young people to think about, maybe the world doesn't really care about me, and so instead of pretending like it's not going on, we engage them in those discussions, right?
You need it.
Yeah. So if you can make that stuff a reality, then they can talk it through. We can broaden their perspective, and then we can do some healing, right? Most of the youth, as you know, Vernisha, when we go to the school, they have really been impacted by a lot of trauma.
Yes.
So for your parents out there or other people that are watching, I want you guys to Google something called ACEs. ACES, that stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences, right? Many of the young people we serve in alternative schools get high scores on that. Some of the ACEs questions are, did your parents divorce before you were 17 years old? Was there drug use in the home? Did you ever feel unloved? Was one of your parents incarcerated, right? Usually we know that if you score, and that's only 4 questions. Remember, there's 10 questions on the ACEs. If they score 3 or 4 and above, they have childhood trauma, right? And we're going to have to address that, right? Many of these kids struggle with regulation, right? They get real antsy, and so we do a lot of moving activities to help them regulate, a lot of storytelling. But if we ignore these things, we ignore them at our own peril, right? Because these young people are hurting, and we want to be there present for them so they have safe adults to talk to. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Okay, and so can you go more into detail about this 7 challenges?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Yeah, the 7 challenges, again, simple program. Remember, if you think about the words of drugs and alcohol, you think, oh, I've heard of AA meetings and NA meetings. The goal of AA meetings is what? What's their goal?
To prevent, to try to help.
Yeah, to stop using, right?
Yeah.
You got to be abstinent, right? And they work steps, right? And they have a sponsor and things like that. Well, the 7 challenges is different. The 7 challenges, you don't need to work it in order. The goal is not to stop using drugs. Don't be afraid, parents. Let me explain this to you. The goal is to make healthier and wiser decisions, right? Choices about your use of drugs and alcohol, but about your life, okay? Interesting enough, all the studies say that if you try to hammer kids with these messages, don't use, or this is going to happen, bad stuff is going to happen, it goes on deaf ears.
That's it's crazy because it's true. Like, that's one thing that I always used to tell. I used to tell my kids in the group, and then I used to always tell adults where it's like, what you fail to realize, when you tell a child not to do something, it makes them want to do it even more. Like, it's a difference with telling them just don't do it versus telling them this can affect you a certain type of way and just showing them that you there for them throughout it.
Right.
And, like you said, healthier choices with doing it. And eventually they'll get over it, hopefully. But it's definitely,
It's funny. It's almost like sometimes parents lose their mind. They forget that they were young. What did you do? You were curious. You experimented. You were like,
And when my mama told me not to do something, I probably went and did. Like, that's the normal. Like,
you and me both, right?
Yeah.
And so we engage them on that level. We recognize that this is just a normal part of development, curiosity. But what we do, again, is broaden their perspective. We try to get them to think of, using their prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that helps you think, right? Because at this age of adolescence, especially 13-year-olds to 21-year-olds, their emotional brain is in charge. So what we have to do is we have to first engage them by doing activities that they're excited about, get them to know we care. That way that emotional brain is engaged, and then we can start using that prefrontal cortex so they can start weighing out the costs and benefits of decisions. But if they don't feel like you care about them, you're not connected, forget it. It's over with. Anytime they've heard an adult a million times, probably I shouldn't say a million, but a lot of times say drugs are bad or you shouldn't do this and yelling at them, and they just shut down. And that's the 7 challenges in a nutshell is we ask curious questions, we engage them on what they want to talk about, and we do it in a way where they know that we're there to go stand side by side with them as they solve problems in their life. Yeah, it's funny because most of the time the teachers or administrators send them to us because drugs or alcohol, and then they find out, wow, the kids are not using drugs anymore. They seem to be doing all right. And they're like, well, what did you tell them? And it wasn't like, we didn't tell them anything. We just allowed them to have their own agency, their own decision making, because they're smart. I mean, come on now.
And just be there for them.
Young people are so smart. Think of, you think about our history as a country. Some of the greatest changes that have happened is because of young people, right?
Yeah.
The civil rights movement. Come on, people. When those young people started getting arrested and the dogs and the hoses were turned on them, it changed the whole course of this country because these young people went out and did something about it. They have an imagination, and we want to engage that imagination and help them steer that energy in a direction where they're not hurting themselves and others and actually helping their community develop. So that's what the 7 challenges is. We have a lot of fun too. It's not just about talking about heavy duty stuff,
I know.
Right?
Yeah, I definitely know.
So again, just being there, present. Young
like you
people.
said, as far as it being a group, like he said, you be in groups with kids where they go through that type of stuff, where they're using drugs. And I was in a group where it got to a point where none of the kids in the group using drugs no more.
Right.
Like, and it was like they didn't even want to talk about drugs no more because of the simple fact they was at a point where, you allowed them to grow out of that type of stuff on their own just by being there for them.
Yeah, when they make the decisions for themselves, that stuff sticks.
Yes.
Anytime an adult tries to force something, you might stop it temporarily, but it's not taking root. Those decisions have to be made by them, and they have to do it because they want to, right? So that's what the group is about. Yeah, I love it because it respects a young person's agency, that they can make their own decisions, and also puts us in a position where we really don't have to work hard. It's really them, thinking for themselves, right? We give them the tools. But they use the tools themselves. But again, remember what I said earlier. They're only going to do that if they know that you care about them.
Yeah, it's crazy because you just answered like really all the other like because I'm looking at the questions and we really answered it because we wanted to talk about the strategies of how to reduce drugs, and I feel like honestly that's the main thing with when it comes to reducing drugs, where just being there for a child. I feel like it's not good even for adults, kids and adults. I feel like it's not a good thing to just try to force somebody to do something versus it being like trying to figure out the reason. I feel like you should try to figure out the reasoning behind why they are doing it, and just push forward with just helping a person versus just trying to brutally stop them from what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the main things we are dealing with our young people in this day and age, where it's just like it's too much of telling them what to do and not really trying to guide them through it, not trying to get them opportunities, outside of that, versus just telling them you shouldn't be doing this, but not telling them I got a program for you to be involved in to help you. Like,
let's stick with that word opportunities, right? Because here's the other side of it too, right? When the young person all of a sudden knows that you care about them, as a community, we've got to be prepared to hold space for them to be able to do things so they can thrive, right? I'm not just talking about stopping using drugs. I want them to thrive, right? We want to find them jobs, right? And not SLJs. Can I say that on TV? Shitty little jobs. But we want them to get good jobs, right? Where they feel like they like work, they're engaged in it, right?
Yes.
We want to help them out with other resources too. If their family doesn't have very good health insurance, let's help them with that, right? I remember this one young person. This is how he talked to me all the time in group. And I was like, it occurred to me after about 4 groups that it wasn't that he had bad breath. He actually did when I found out, but his teeth were so messed up that he was embarrassed to have people see it, right?
Really?
So I was like, hey, man, let's figure it out. So I got some people that I knew to organize a fundraiser and stuff, and we got that young people, and now he's smiling away, happy as can be. He just turned out, he's a father now, which I'm really excited about. So we maintained a friendship throughout the years. But if we could have that imagination where young people could thrive and not just survive, our communities would be so much safer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're all talking about these, like, I think, don't get me wrong here, I think it's important that we reduce substance use, right? But we have to do other things too.
Yes.
It can't just be in a vacuum by itself. I hope that makes sense.
It does. And so, speaking on you being a father, you have kids. I don't think you told them, but
one child.
Yeah, he have a child.
He's a man now.
How can we empower more fathers to be more actively involved? And do you think that play a part when it comes to our young people?
Yeah. It's funny because, at times I've been involved with Westside Men, and I think it's really important for us fathers to hold space for each other and talk about all the stresses that are going on, right? We have a special responsibility to be strong, but if we think that we have to do it by ourselves, it's going to fail every time. Yes. We have to do it collectively. I've never accomplished anything in my life without the help of other people. If I have staff watching tonight, I say this to you guys all the time, right? I would be nothing if it wasn't for you guys, right? We say the more hands, the less work.
Yeah.
Right. That's our motto at work. But that should be the same thing in the community, right? Is that a lot of our fathers may not have the skills to be father, and we have to teach them. We have to be there for them in a non-judgmental way, right?
Yes.
And then help each other out. It really does take a village, right? Yeah. And our moms too. Our moms need us so badly to help support them. My wife and I talk about it all the time. She told me the other night, which really, got me emotional. She says, I don't know what I'd do without you. I don't know how I could have raised our son. And I said, I feel the same way. I mean, you need people to talk to, right? And if you're a single parent out there, grab a support group, grab other people, right? Again, we got to think bigger, right? And not be afraid to imagine a society where all of us take care of each other, right?
Yes.
So often we're like, I don't want to talk to that person. Don't answer the door. That might be something bad. Man, people are people, right?
Yes.
I've been, in Chicago since 1989. And my wife's watching. She's like, you always say that same story. I can go through any neighborhood, and everybody's treated me with respect. I think it's how you interact with people, right? So.
And so if anybody is just now tuning in, can you remind them of who you are and how they can get in contact with WestCare if they need, and just a quick sum up of what WestCare is in case they need any information?
Yeah, again, WestCare is a not-for-profit. We help young people and adults either in the alternative schools or criminal justice system. Feel free to call me at 312-504-7263. You can text me too. Or email me at carlos.rodriguez@westcare.com.
Okay, and if it's something that you would like to leave, it can be some encouraging words. It could be anything that you would like to leave for our viewers watching.
Don't give up on our youth. They need you, right? The ones that come at you the hardest and they're the meanest, they need you the most. Stick in there. Stick in. I call it stick and stay.
I love it.
You stay, they'll come out of it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much for being a guest on my show tonight. Thank you, everyone, and see you next week, same time, same station.